Earlier today, as I was in the kitchen, I literally was like, okay, what should today's topic be about? And because I was in the kitchen, it seemed like it could take a while, like a long time to do different things, especially if you have people who want to help you, like little people who wants to, just what can I help with? What can I help with? And that is a blessing because, they want to do stuff. They are contributing to their society. They want to throw away things. I'm giving them different things to do. They want to help with what I'm making for the week. And that is a blessing. And at the same time, that can take long if they don't exactly know how to do it, or if they, would like to help with something else, but they can't just yet because they're not of age, or if you have to keep explaining yourself multiple times. And so, taking all of that into consideration, I literally was talking to somebody earlier and I said, yeah, I'm still in the kitchen. You guys went upstairs, went to go pray, and came back down and I'm still in the kitchen. And two of their responses were, well, that's because whenever you make things, you make it from scratch. You like to do it from scratch. We just get the boxes and just put it in the bowl and then we just mix it and we're done. And so I thought that was actually, because I was not even thinking about that at all. I was not thinking that it took longer to do it from scratch in that moment as I was talking to them. Like, I did not consider that. That's why, because I made a comment like, oh, you guys make your food like in 20 seconds. And I'm still in the kitchen. And that's when they said, well, it's because you like to make things from scratch. You do it from scratch. And I said, oh, wow, interesting. So I know what I'm going to talk about. And that's why I'm introducing all of this into this video, because God has given us our lives. We did not ask God to make us. He made us because we are a glory, we're a beauty unto his name. He created us to worship him because he is the great I am, the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. And he's made us in his image and in his likeness. Our world is supposed to teach us how to be sensitive to God, how he's speaking, because, God introduces things to us throughout our days, and he's seeing how we respond to it. He's seeing if we're being mindful of him. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So life is God. Life is in God, meaning that he's in control of life. He's in control of our lives. Our lives are in his hand, and he's the one who put us here to fulfill his purpose, because his purpose is going to get fulfilled, whether we want to hear, whether we want to forbear. It's going to happen. It's going to play out. I was thinking about that as we are here, there are things that we are going to have to do, because yesterday I was talking about, the working, and if God is wanting you to do something, how we are not supposed to. We're getting sanctified from being afraid of fulfilling an assignment, especially if other people may have fulfilled that role and they failed. The example that I used was King Saul. So you have King Saul. He did well for 2 years. After that, the Lord's Spirit departed from him, and he had to continue to reign for the next 38 years without Jesus, without the Lord being with him. And I'm saying Jesus now, but in the Old Testament, that was not yet made known to them. So, though it was spoken about in the prophecy in Isaiah, but in Saul's time, God wanted to do something. It wasn't his actual will. Like, he wanted the people to come to him. He wanted the people to cry out to him. He wanted the people to not replace him as king. But they wanted somebody who they can actually see, because it's easier to hearken to things that we can see instead of this God who's in the sky who we can't see. But he knows that. He knows that about people. He knows the sin nature. He knows the limitation. He knows the enmity that we have in our hearts, which is why sanctification has to always take place. Like the healing, the restoration, the redemption. Yes, we are continually supposed to fight our flesh and our souls from day to day. Denying, laying down ourselves, picking up our cross to follow the Lord. And with that role that Saul had, King David after him could have came in and said, well, he failed. So if he failed, then what's going to happen to me? Like, it's not going to work out. But that's not the mindset. That's not the heart that God wants us to have in the kingdom. He wants us to believe, like, no, if he's chosen us and he's keeping us, even though it may feel chaotic, even though it may feel like the winds and the storms is going to come whenever they do come, it may feel like instability. But he wants us to have faith. He wants us to be of good courage. He wants us to be of good courage. So the working people may not feel equipped to do their job. People may not feel like they're able to speak the right way, or they're tall enough, or they're wise enough, or whatever else. They don't have the credentials like this person have. They don't have that anointing that that person have. But who created man's mouth? Who created the eyes and ears of man? God did. So he is the one who gets to dictate and determine what you do. He created you for his likeness, his purpose. He created you to bless him. So if you do not operate like that person, if you don't believe that you're as wise as that person, then it's okay. Like, it's fine. You have no idea what things God is going to expect from you or that person. So the anointings that God has given to us, it is tailor-made for us, for our lives. It's tailor-made. It's designed to fit us. It's designed to work through us. And it's going to work. Like, nobody's going to stop the work of God. It's going to work. So, this making things from scratch, because I'm not saying it's bad to use the boxes. I'm not saying if that's the way you do things, I'm not saying that way is terrible. But I like to use or try to make things from scratch, because whatever I can make, because sometimes we may not have enough time because of doing other things or wanting to help in other areas. But I like to see what is going into my food, like, because they like to put a lot of different things, chemicals, preservatives, just different things they like to throw together. Sugar, like, loaded up with it. Like, come on. There's like, no. So I like to see what's going in, and people might say, well, the stuff that you may use too. Even if it says organic, they might have stuff in there as well. Okay. What I am saying is the simple stuff I use, like the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda if I need to, the vanilla extract, those basic things, I can use it and I can see what I'm putting in there, regardless of the other stuff. And so they understood, and that made me think about how when, say, if somebody is giving you something, you may not be as mindful or careful with it. Now you have some people who are careful and mindful to take care of other people's things. But whenever you work for it yourself, you could be a little bit more considerate. Like, okay, I paid for this. It was this much money. Where is it? I'm putting it up right here. I'm trying to make sure it doesn't break. I'm trying to be protective of that thing because I spent my money on that. So I am thinking and comparing it to, because those were the examples, but I'm comparing it to when the Lord, has us to go through our lives and the things that we face or the blessings that He wants us to obtain. You can try to do things a quick way. And if you get things in a hasty fashion, just know that it's not going to be the fullness of what you should have gotten or what you could have gotten. It talks about it that in Proverbs, like an inheritance got it speedily, or even in Ecclesiastes. But if it's gotten hastily, then the end of that thing is not going to be good. So the Lord, He works with us according to process. He works with us according to time and place. There's a time and place for everything in Ecclesiastes. Everything has an order. They play their respective roles under the sun. So God is in control of purpose and time. He gets to determine what's beautiful. He gets to determine where everything goes according to His time frame of how He wants it to play out. So this process of trying to rush God or trying to get things that God doesn't really want for us, that is going to end in things being taken from you, or things being burnt up, or things being like a hindrance to you, or a prick to your side and a prick to your eyes. It's not going to benefit. So we want to not rush God's hand. We don't want to rush our process. We don't want to rush what God is trying to teach us, because everything that we are supposed to learn, everything that He is wanting to teach us, is supposed to make us who He sees us to be in the Spirit. God sees us different than how we see ourselves. God's mind, His heart is higher, His thoughts higher. That's why we need the mind of Christ. We need the perspective of God so that we can have the right view of things. Ourselves, the world around us, the people around us. We need the right view of things. So it may seem like it's taking a long time for God to do what He is saying. But we need to understand that it's for a reason. It's for a reason. God has taken His time to us because our time is not the same. God already have spoken everything in their time frame and their seasons. He already preordained all of that. We're just living moment by moment. So to us, it can seem like, man, God, you're taking forever. You're taking too long. Why can't you respond? Why can't you do it now? Why can't you? And he's like, hold on, my son. Hold on, my daughter. I'm trying to do something. Everything is going to work together for your good. Whenever he does it, it's going to be the best time. It may not seem like it in the second or moment that you're going through it, but whenever he does it, you're going to realize, oh, this could only be done by God. So we have to learn to enjoy, as I scratch my itch and I rub it, rub my eye because, yes, I need to rub it. But as God is working with us in our process, we have to be grateful for where he has us because we don't understand the entirety of his plan. And I'm thinking about Joseph. Joseph, he had dreams, right? He told his brothers his dreams, and his dad and his brothers hated him the more. But Jacob, he was considerate. He was mindful of what Joseph was saying because Jacob have encounters with God. He have encounters. He sees angels. He sees the angels ascending and descending on the ladder. So Jacob, he wasn't a stranger to what Joseph was exactly talking about. He has dreams. God communicates to him. But even his response, like, are you saying that me and your mom is going to bow to you? Like, what are you saying? So, though he was sold by his brothers, he had to endure the process. Got lied on by Potiphar's wife. After he was promoted to be head in Potiphar's household, and he was able to know everything and tell Potiphar where everything was. Potiphar didn't have to worry about anything. He didn't have to worry about where his clothes or where his food was going to come from. That was Joseph's responsibility. And Joseph, he was doing so well. Potiphar's wife decided she wanted to lie on him. Joseph had to go back to jail. So now you're back in this situation where it seems like, man, I'm in trouble all over again, or I don't know how this is going to go. But we don't see Joseph's response. We don't get that. Meaning in those moments, we don't know the torment. We don't really know the agonizing pain he may feel. We don't really know. We just know that Joseph was doing what he was supposed to do. He was placed over the jail people. And then after that, 2 years later, after he said, don't forget about me. Yeah, I'm not going to forget about you, Joseph. I got you. Forgot about him. And it wasn't until Pharaoh needed help with his dream, they remembered Joseph. And then after that, you're talking about like after 7 years later, because after the times of peace, now you've got the times of famine. And now people need food, they need drink, and guess where they have to go? They have to go and they have to see Joseph. And they did not recognize Joseph by this time. They didn't recognize him. Now he's maybe like 37, 38, 39. And I'm getting those numbers because we already know what age he began to rule, but they came after the times of the famine. And so Joseph has not seen his brothers in years. And when they finally see him, when he finally sees them, he knew that those was his brothers, but he put them through some tests to see if they changed. And as he was communicating to his brothers, he basically said, listen, I know y'all meant this to hurt me. I know you guys meant this for my bad, but listen, the Lord is the one who brought me here so that I can preserve your life. So Joseph knew, he had an understanding of what the whole picture was. And he didn't have to have that understanding when he first began to be accused, when he first was placed where he didn't want to be placed, but he began to understand. And that's what our process does. It allows for us, the patience in our process allows for us to be still and know that he's God. It allows for us to think like, okay, God, what is your will? Well, this is what you are wanting for me to do. This is how you want me to think about this matter. Well, let me go ahead and adjust. Let me make adjustments. Let me agree. And Joseph had an awareness like, okay, no, so you guys meant this for my bad, but God, he means this for my good. And I had to go before you. I had to go before you. And we don't exactly know how God wants us to go before others. We don't exactly know how God is going to go before us and how he's going to prepare the way. What we do have to do is we have to be obedient. We have to continue to have one foot in front of the other. We have to walk. We have to obey. We have to do what is right in front of us, what we're being told to do, those things, because it's important. It's important. So, this message summary, if you are asking, what is this all about? So I started off with, the introduction, but the point that I am trying to make or clarify is there is a way that God is trying to work with us. We can want things to be quick. We can want to just pop things in a microwave. We could just want things to, I want it to be ready now. I want it to be ready now. Or we can allow for God to make us into what we need to be in the spirit and for more blessings to come forth from that. Because we know people can just do things because they can do it just because they can get it done. But that doesn't mean that their hearts and their minds have actually changed. God is looking for our hearts and our minds to actually change in the process, not just something that we do and it's temporary, because heaven and hell, we're eternal beings. So we know that he's going to destroy this earth as we know it. He's going to have a brand new earth, a brand new heaven. And the earth, he is going to create a new earth. New Jerusalem is going to come down. And it's going to dwell. God is going to dwell with his people. So yes, we need to appreciate the process, and we have to have patience in the process so that we can see the blessings of God reign in our lives.